Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of the most offensive podcast ever. I'm Slimmy V, and today I am going to be talking about the CDC. I am kind of afraid to talk about it because of the whole shadow banning, but this is a story and I can't shy away from it. If you're looking at the screen as I'm looking, it says Pfizer Exec concedes COVID-19 vaccine was not tested on preventing transmission before the release. What does that mean? Now, it could mean that just an exec there who concedes that the vaccine were not tested on whether they prevented the transmission before the release. It's just, that's what that means. Nonetheless, it made headlines. It made waves. And if you're not talking about it, something is wrong. All right? The media really got you by the sack. Right? They got you all twisted up. Like you don't know what to say. You don't know when to say it. You don't know how to say it. Right? That's that whole censoring crap that's going on in social media and Hollywood right now. But we're going to talk about it. Now, we're going to show clips, little clips, to let you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because we were under the impression that if you are vaccinated, you are protected, right? From transmission. Like originally, of course, there were certain reports that says, well, there are people who are vaccinated that are getting this. But this is bombshell because this exec is actually saying that COVID-19 vaccine was not tested on preventing the transmission. Now, whether Biden, Fauci, or Rochelle Walensky, who is the CDC director, whether they knew about it, that's another story for a different day and time. But we've had Dr. Fauci, President Biden, we had CDC Director Walensky come out and say that the vaccine is safe and effective, whatever that may mean, and that they do prevent you from getting COVID and they prevent you from spreading COVID. That's at a particular point in time, right? But on October 11, 2022, this was released. Let me see if I could read a little bit of it. It says a Pfizer executive said Monday that neither she or other Pfizer officials knew whether its COVID-19 vaccine would stop transmission before entering the market last year. Now, why would they not have known that? Right? So that is the question. That is sort of kind of important. This is the reason why they were making it mandatory. Because if you're making it mandatory, then you're sure that it's going to stop the spread. But by knowing this little piece of information, right, and if you continue to push it, that's alarming. That means, what are you trying to do? If you know this information and you're still pushing to stop the spread, what is really going on? I don't want to say too much. I want to let these clips speak for themselves. But what I'm saying is really common sense type of stuff. I've had videos removed before and get reinstated because it was not mis or disinformation, right? So let's go along with several of these clips. Okay, there's my man Roland. He's talking about it. So I just want to get you a little bit of clip from this.
Let me just repeat that. Ms. Janine Small, who is Pfizer's president of international developed markets, she was sitting in the European Council getting questioned just yesterday. And here's exactly how an exchange went between herself and a member of the European Parliament named Rob Roos.
Was the Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market? If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee?
Did you hear what he asked? let's just rewind. Was the COVID vaccine tested on stopping
tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market.
was it tested before it entered the market, before it was up for whatever sale or for us to get vax?
If not, please say it clearly.
Now he's asking this and then really making it clear, like, yo, I don't want no BS. Tell me yes or tell me no. Don't do backflips, rolls, go around the corner. Don't be political about this. This is really important.
If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it.
Regarding the question around, did we know about stopping immunisation before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science.
She said no, and then we really had to move at the speed of science, which means things were coming faster than. But see, this is really alarming. And look, I'm really hoping that these people that we put our hands in are really trying their hardest to help us during these type of pandemic times. I'm really hoping that they are. Because there are millions, practically billions of people on this planet who trust their doctors. And if you're going to lie to us about something such as this is really important, then what else have you lied about? What else did you misinform us about? She just said no. And I got another clip. Listen to this.
If you don't get vaccinated, you're antisocial. This is what the Dutch Prime Minister and Health Minister told us. You don't get vaccinated just for yourself, but also for others. You do it for all of society.
You do it for all of society. This is how they got us to want to go and get this, because your grandmother, you got to protect people around you, your neighbors, the children. You got to make sure that it's not just for you, but you're protecting others from yourself, right? So in fact, this should have been tested as to whether it stops you from spreading this virus. And now, I am not here saying that it does not do that. All I'm saying is there were a lot of breakthrough, okay, where people who have been fully vaccinated have caught it and have spread it. That's something that we know by now, okay? Let me see, does he have anything else to say?
That's what I said. Today, this turned out to be complete nonsense. In a COVID hearing in the European Parliament, one of the Pfizer directors just admitted to me, at the time of introduction, the vaccine had never been tested on stopping the transmission of the virus. This removes the entire legal basis for the COVID passport. The COVID passport that led to massive institutional discrimination as people lost access to essential parts of society. I find this to be shocking, even criminal.
Okay. This, I mean, it's scary. Now, many people would say, nah, well, they were not saying this before. They were not saying that you had to get it, or there are people coming out and saying this nonsense. But they were saying this. I'm not going to tell you what they were saying. Let's read the quotes ourselves. Biden came out, and remember, he said, we're requiring active duty military to be vaccinated. We're making sure healthcare workers are vaccinated, because if you seek care at a healthcare facility, you should have the certainty that the people providing that care are protected from COVID and cannot spread it to you. But with the findings that we have, that is simply not the case. Whether he knew about it or not is the question. So that's another question, because President Biden is not CDC. So now I'm really being really careful as to how I point to this. Now, once we go to here, the exec concedes COVID-19 vaccine was not tested on preventing transmission before the release. So, did Biden get that little piece of information? Right? So, that's a question that we really have to ask ourselves. Is there anything I need to know in this? No, I don't. All right. Now, let me play a clip from this real quick. Let me let you hear Fauci himself.
If you get vaccinated, you are protected, even with the Delta variant, which, by the way, has a greater capacity to spread from person to person. And when you're infected, it has a greater likelihood of giving you serious disease. We know that as a fact from our own country, but particularly from the experience in the UK. The vaccines we have do protect well against the Delta variant. So if ever there was a reason to get vaccinated, it's right now, because we're seeing this Delta variant double every 2 weeks. We're up to 20.6% of the isolates now are Delta variants. A few weeks ago, it was like 2 or 3 or 4%.
So, when he made that suggestion for us to get vaccinated, that's when the Delta was started to spread. And he's seen over several weeks, it's spreading. We need to get vaccinated. In other words, hey, get vaccinated so you can protect yourself, so you can stop the spread. But again, as I show you, and I'm going to keep on showing you, the Pfizer exec concedes COVID-19 vaccine was not tested on preventing transmission before the release. Right? So I don't know Fauci as being an epidemiologist, or he doesn't practice it, right? But he is the head of the NIH. I'm pretty sure somehow, some way, the information should have gotten to him. And if it didn't, there's something wrong. Either these people, Fauci, should be looking to sue these people for not getting him that piece of information that is vital to society. Because this really screwed up everybody. People lost their jobs. Okay? People lost friendships. All right? People died. All right? After being vaccinated, if you were to say, okay, it protects you or it stops the spread, if you're vaccinated, now you're thinking, I'm good. I could be around society. I could take my mask off. I could take the gloves off. I could hug. I could kiss. I could do all of these things that I could not do before being vaccinated. So, therefore, you can now kind of spread it. But remember, at a particular time, they were saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, stating that the people who were not vaccinated were the ones spreading this virus. That's what they were saying. Let me not be the one to say it, but let me let you hear it for yourself. Now, I don't know if this is the clip, but let's check it out.
No, I want to be clear about what the CDC is saying and what the CDC is not saying. The CDC is saying they have concluded that fully vaccinated people are at a very, very low risk of getting COVID-19. Therefore, if you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. Let me repeat, if you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask. But if you've not been vaccinated, or if you're getting a two-shot vaccine and you've not gotten you only had your first shot, but not your second, or you haven't waited the full 2 weeks after your second shot, you still need to wear a mask. Look, we've gotten this far. Please protect yourself.
Please protect yourself. Now, that in lies an issue and a problem. Again, had we known this, Pfizer Exec concedes COVID-19 vaccine was not tested on preventing transmission before release, then he would have never said this. Again, I reiterate this question because it's extremely important. What did Biden know? Now, remember this. Let's listen to this. This is CDC Director Rochelle Walensky.
Clear message that is coming through. This is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated. We are seeing outbreaks of cases in parts of the country that have low vaccination coverage because unvaccinated people are at risk. And communities that are fully vaccinated are generally faring well. The good news is that if you're fully vaccinated, you are protected against severe COVID, hospitalization, and death, and are even protected against the known variants, including the Delta variant circulating in this country. If you are not vaccinated, you remain at risk. And our biggest concern is that we are going to continue to see preventable cases, hospitalizations, and sadly deaths among the unvaccinated. Lastly, I want to reiterate the importance of getting fully vaccinated. I want to reiterate that people who got the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are most effective, especially when against the Delta variant, when given as 2 shots in a series. Both vaccines are most effective 2 weeks after the second dose, with each exceeding 90% effectiveness against severe disease, hospitalization.
That 90 plus effectiveness against this actually went down. If you were paying attention to the news and you was paying attention to the reports that were coming out after what she said and after what Moderna and Pfizer initially put out, you would know that it's definitely way less than 90% effective. That's news now. If I had a clip of something, I definitely would have showed it. But again, herein lies the issue. They were at a particular point blaming the unvaccinated, not knowing that these shots were never tested, whether they protected you from spreading, from the transmission, right? So I am not sitting here saying to you that these shots did nothing. This is not what I'm saying, right? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Do not take my word for it. I'm not sitting here. You seek your doctor. You do your own research for yourself so you can see with your own eyes. And when I mean with your eyes, I mean with the eyes of your mind. Because I understand what's going on. And I'm making a decision for me, for my family. You need to grasp and understand it so you could make a fully educated decision for yourself, for your body, for your health, in the way your body is, so you can survive, basically. Because pieces of news, pieces of information that was out there, that were known by people, were not disseminated to the American. All right? We were not told. Now, remember this. CDC director data suggests that vaccinated people do not carry the virus. See, it's not something that I'm making up. Okay, bullet point number 1. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky said data suggests fully vaccinated people don't carry COVID-19. This was, I believe, last year. On Monday, the CDC released a study finding mRNA vaccine 90% effective at preventing infection. That later on was proved to be not true. Now, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky is tweeting new CDC data. This came out of the CDC itself that suggests people who have been fully vaccinated almost, almost never carry COVID-19. During an MSNBC interview with Rachel Maddow on Monday, okay? I wish I would know the date. This was March 30, 2021. Let's play this clip real quick. It's 14 seconds, but it says a lot.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real-world data.
Now, listen to what she said. Look, our data from the CDC suggests that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in a clinical trial, but also in real world data. That's what she said. Over here, it says our data from the CDC today suggests that vaccinated people do not carry the virus. Okay, so they got that right. Okay, good. At least you heard it for yourself.
Data.
Okay, hold up, rewind.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real-world data.
And also in real-world data. So according to them, I guess they were testing and analyzing the data, and that's the results that they came up with. Now, let's see something here. This is something I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you something real quick. Okay. We knew early on in January 2021, in late December 2020, that reinfections was occurring. Reinfections was occurring amongst vaccinated people, right? But, and in May of 2021, this is Dr. Fauci, when you get vaccinated, you not only protect your own health and that of the family, but also you contribute to the community health by preventing the spread of the virus throughout the community. In other words, you become a dead end to the virus. Let me rewind that whole quote. When you get vaccinated, according to Dr. Fauci, you not only protect your own health and that of the family, but you also contribute to the community health by preventing the spread throughout the community. In other words, you become a dead end to the virus. So how much did they know? And when there are a lot of dead ends around, the virus is not going to go anywhere. July 2021.
The ability of individuals who are infected through breakthrough infections.
Remember, breakthrough is something that was supposed to happen once in a while. But when you see breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, it's no longer a breakthrough. Breakthrough is when, oh my gosh, this guy broke, there was a breakthrough into something, meaning it's a rare event. It's not something that happens all of the time. But in Israel, now I didn't know if they was collecting data from Israel at that particular time. But if you looked at the news and the reporters that was coming out from Israel, there were a lot of breakthroughs.
namely vaccinated people who ultimately get infected, that they are generally without symptoms or minimally symptomatic. However, it is clear that they are capable of transmitting the infection to uninfected individuals.
Likewise,
Let's go. In 8/2021, fully vaccinated people with Delta variant breakthrough infections can spread the virus to others. Now, it is well known that, hey, this is happening, right? Now, to our knowledge, we're getting this now. We're like, damn, fully vaccinated people are spreading this stuff. Like, what is really happening? Let's go. Biden on October 2021. We're requiring, okay, I spoke about this. We're requiring active duty military to be vaccinated. We're making sure healthcare workers are vaccinated because if you seek care at a healthcare facility, you should have the certainty that the people providing that care are protected from COVID and cannot spread it to you, which we find out to not be the case. The unvaccinated, listen to this, and I'm going to end this. I'm not going to make this too long, but I just really wanted to pack this with all the facts and all of the reporting that I kind of brought together just so I could share with you, right? Listen to this quote by Biden. The unvaccinated, not the vaccinated, the unvaccinated. There's an emphasis, okay? Let me reiterate that. Let me repeat that one more time. The unvaccinated, not the vaccinated, all right? Because you guys are good. You guys are following the orders. Good dog, right? The unvaccinated, that's the problem. Everybody talks about freedom and whether to have the shot or have a test. How about making sure that you're vaccinated so you do not spread the disease to anyone else? Make sure that you're vaccinated so you do not spread the disease. Meanwhile, there's reporting from before. You saw the timeline. I showed you the timeline. Before, it showed that there was spread amongst those who were vaccinated. At that time, they called it breakthrough. At that time, they call it breakthroughs to make you aware that they don't know what's going on. Again, I can't say for sure whether they knew until it comes out with that initial report that I showed you. But this one right here, the one that I showed you right there, where it says that they conceded that it was not tested on prevent transmission before the release. Okay, so let's go back. PolitiFact, something that they rarely do. When they say people vaccinated for COVID-19 do not spread the disease to anyone else, they actually rated it false. Not just false, but mostly false. This is not... Now, did mainstream news media harp on this? No, they didn't. Because they're saying it was taboo for them to say what Biden said is false. Because there was an effort for schools to be mandated for vaccines. Workplace, mandated for vaccines. Hip hop was doing it. If you're not vaccinated, you can't sleep with me. All this type of stupidness. The guilt they made you feel for not being vaccinated. Like you're killing grandma. You don't care about people. You don't care about your neighbors. Meanwhile, BLM, Black Lives Matter, when the whole George Floyd thing happened, everybody's out in the street. Maskless, not really social distancing, all that stuff was out the window when that happened. You need to ask questions, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we are under attack. And we have to take a stance. We have to ask questions. Again, I don't know. Maybe Joe don't know. Maybe Fauci don't know. Maybe Director Rochelle Walensky don't know. Maybe Rachel Maddow don't know. Maybe Vice President Harris don't know. Maybe they they're dumb to those facts. Maybe those things were not given to them. But my question is, let's just say I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. But why aren't they asking those questions that I'm asking? And I'm being good. I'm being good today. I'm not calling them liars. All I'm doing is asking, why weren't you asking the same questions that we were asking? Why didn't you have the same concerns that we had? All those things that we were complaining about. That's all. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not going to say any more. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. This is probably going to be one of the most important videos that I ever dropped on this channel in the 3 years I've been doing this, or 2 years I've been doing this. Spread this video, share this video, comment on this video. Okay? And subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Subscribe to this channel. I am here. I'm Slimmy V, and I am dedicated to spreading the truth, to asking those questions that most of these people are afraid to ask. I am here. I'm going to ask it. Right? But you got to understand how I'm trying to understand and play this game. I don't want my channel yeeted. I want to be able to have a voice. I want to be able to speak the truth and ask these questions that many are afraid to ask. Okay? I am a conservative. I am a black conservative with black conservative perspective. My views are different than that of a liberal or a Democrat. I am no longer in a Democrat plantation. I am not exactly pulled into the Republican, but the Republicans are a lot better right now. Okay? I do have questions about Donald Trump. When he was pushing for this vaccine to come out, what did he know? Why wasn't he asking? Why was he advocating so much? And some of you who follow me probably may not like that I'm asking that. But if I want to have the integrity, the things that you like about me, these qualities, then I have to question Donald Trump. What did you know? When did you know it? What did you push it? Now, I understand he did not make it mandatory, but he put it in the hands of someone that did. And that's a problem. But I'm not going to harp too much on it. I don't want to kill him too much, right? Because I need to do a little bit more research on that. As I find out, I will come to you. Now, I know this video is long enough. Again, please like this video, share this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to the channel. If you're not offended, you probably wasn't watching or listening. I'm Slimmy V, and this is the most offensive podcast ever. God bless, stress less, and let Yahweh do the rest. I'm out. Peace.